So softening the ankles, softening the knees. Pelvis is just drawn up at the front, drop down at the back. Spine is rising up to the sky. Golden thread, drawing the head up, touching the sky, keeping the neck soft and loose. And the head is just resting, finding its balance, resting on top of the spine. And then lifting the shoulders, dropping them down the back. So you've got spacious armpits, rounded arms, rounded legs, sort of opened up pelvis. And just resting here, breathing. Just being here on the earth. And then we'll move into a bit of dough-in, self-massage. So again, making sure you've got very floppy wrist and supporting one elbow. Massaging up and down the neck to the top of the shoulder. And the arms flop. And trying the other side. So during this dough-in, just tuning into how your body feels today. Tired, awake, so going down the arm, down the top of the arm, tops of the hands, palm to ceiling, thumb to ceiling, little finger, and into the armpit. Okay, moving on to the other arm. Thumb to ceiling, little finger, into the armpits. Noticing sensations in the arms. And then heading down the legs, so slipping the flexor.
Sorry to interrupt, but could you pin your picture so you're big, please?
Of course.
Thank you.
I say of course. For everyone. Is that better? Okay. So going down the fronts of the legs first of all. So hip flexors to start. Then heading down the front. Tops of the feet. Back of the ankles, backs of the legs. Up to the buttocks. Sides of the hips. Down the sides of the legs. And then up this inside. Back to the hip flexors. Just having a little pause, noticing arms and legs. And then moving to the upper chest. So it keeps dropping out. Okay. Okay, this big, soft, delicate front of belly. Forming this shape with your hands, and then massaging kidneys, lower back. Just have another little pause. Then taking raindrop fingers and starting the back of the neck and the scalp. Forehead. The cheekbones, the joint that joins the jaw to the rest of your skull, then the jaw, lower jaw, upper lip. Just give your nose a little pity pat, side to side. Then squishing between thumb and finger, squishing the eyebrows from the center outwards. And then little gentle press, very gentle explore along the edge of the eye socket. Give your face a bit of a rub. Face a bit of a rub. Just check massaging the lips a bit. Squishy. And then again, index finger and thumb, taking the edge of the ear, just pressing and drawing away from the body. So press and pull the ears out to the sides. And then pulling the earlobes down and letting the fingers drop off the bottom. Just do that 3 times. Then just standing, breathing, being in the body. Then we're going to move into 3 explorations of the back of the body. I'll turn sideways so you can see the roll down as we've done it before. So chin will go to chest. Then the head is leading, bending the knees a bit more. Head is leading down to the floor, but just stopping wherever feels nice for you. If you're wherever you are, your lowest point, just play with moving from foot to foot. The pelvis sort of moves in a bit of a figure of 8 as you go from foot to foot. And then also explore going into the balls of the feet and the heels. And then bending the knees to roll up. Just do that 2 more times in your own time, in your own way. And then heading back up towards standing. No need to rush. Taking your time. Coming back to standing. So just before we start, I just wanted to start going through the sequence. This first move can be done in 2 different ways. So you might want to just have a little play of this. We've been doing it, or at least I've been doing it. I don't know, where those longest fingers are sort of gently touching as we go up, or there's even been a gap at times as well. And that's one. And the reason I taught it like that is because that for me leaves my shoulders nice and spacious, and yeah, it gives a sort of sense of play. There is a way as well of doing this where you've clasped the hands together and then you're swinging up, and you can feel it feels quite different. It feels quite different. So I'm going to do it in this way for this first time, just to give us a sense of the different energetics of doing it that way. It's still sort of swinging, it's swinging out and up like that, and then out and in, same as when they're apart, kind of stroking up. It's just a bit less to that. So that's something to explore this time. Do, and just play with that. And the other thing is, I think we've been doing it in this group anyway, but on the shaking body to ward off illness, as you breathe in, it looks like this from the front. As you breathe in, the arms are sort of sweeping up the body, sweeping up to here. And then as you breathe out, they sweep down. And when we come to do that on the chair, you can't do that on the chair. Sweep up the back of the body. They sweep up and down. Okay? And it's stuff to play with. None of it's kind of, you must do it, but it just gives you a different sense of things in a way. So just breathing, standing. As we move into the 8 strands of silk brocade for health and well-being. Pushing up to heaven. Breathing out. Breathing in. Drawing the bow. Touching earth and sky. Turn to gaze at the moon. cooling excess heat from the heart. Rowing a boat to strengthen back. Clenching fists to increase chi. Shaking body to ward off illness. Standing like a mountain, breathing on the earth. One of the things I'd like, if there's no other questions particularly, one of the things I'd like to just run through is for turning to gaze at the moon is the sitting down in the hips, which I know is much easier if we did it in person, but I think you'll get a sense of it if I show you again and just try it out for yourselves as well. But I'll show you first so you can, because I think if you're closer to the screen, you can sort of see me better. So I'm not going to show you my whole feet, but you can imagine my feet and what they're doing, but just so you can see what my hips are doing. So the tendency in this is to kind of go, oh, right, I'm going up. I'm going to go up. And I'm going to do this massive twist around here like this. Yep, that's not what we're doing. So, so the idea in this one is that you sit, it's almost like you sit down as much as you can, straight down. So I sink my knees. You won't have to see my knees for this. So I sink my knees down and I sit. And then there's a crease. If I'm going to go this way, I sort of sit into the inside of this hip here. So my pelvis is turned, but it's only turned to the corner. It's not even 45 degrees. So my knees stay facing front and it's a sit down. And then once that's there, in a way, the arms are not turning that much. This is what's creating the turn, and the head just looks through that gap. So I'm not then straining my neck round either. So it's a much, much smaller move than perhaps we've kind of thought it is as well. So just have a little play of that for a couple of minutes. So just try sitting and sort of creasing into or folding into one hip and then the other, sort of on the inside here and here. And then just try noticing what the difference is if you don't do that and how stay up, and you can sort of end up twisting your back too much. So this is quite a key move in Tai Chi, this kind of folding in the hip. Folding and sitting gives so much strength, so much power to the lower body and protects the knees, protects everything. Yeah, so then if you put the hands in, really it's just a little, it's almost like a little flick round to the back, and it just, there's not much movement in there as well. It is, yeah, it is. Rachel and my Tai Chi teacher, is that the right English? Rachel and our Tai Chi teacher used to always say, whatever you're doing, think 50% less. So make 50% less effort every time you're doing any posture. So even this kind of like, you can go at it kind of like, oh yeah, or you can do 50% less and just kind of really feel the internal movements that posture. So yeah, that's really worth keeping in mind. Okay, should we do a sitting round together? Okay, so feet nice and wide apart. If you're on a chair where you're blocked here, just go to the very, very edge. I'll probably keep mine about here. And it's really nice to just at the end of postures or whenever there's resting, that your hands are just sort of gently resting on your thighs rather than hanging. Because although we could do it like this, it's just nice to sort of have that resting posture. So I'm going to go back to doing push up to heaven without clasping the fingers, just because I have a personal preference for it, and it just feels like there's a bit more space in the shoulders, so, which is what I feel like I need today. But if you want to do clasping and energize the arms and shoulders, you're welcome to do that. Eight strands of silk brocade for health and well-being. Pushing up to heaven. Drawing a bow. Touching earth and sky. Turn to gaze at the moon. Cooling excess heat from the heart. Rowing a boat to strengthen back. Clenching fists to increase chi. Shaking body to ward off illness. Just sitting, just breathing, just being.